Okay. Hi, Sophie.
Hi.
Firstly, chin chin.
Cheers.
We're drinking. Am I close enough? Yeah. Drinking Cool Breezes.
Yeah.
We're having a chat. I know who you are, but tell these guys who you are, what you do, and what this is over here.
It's my business. So my name's Sophie Medlin. I'm a dietitian. Most people don't know the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get into that. But dietitians are like the medical nutrition people. So I mainly look after people who have complex health conditions through which diet can help to manage them. So things like bowel conditions, for example. But I run a company where we provide dietitians who have expertise in almost every health condition you can imagine. So, for example, you wouldn't see a gynecologist about a respiratory problem. So you wouldn't really want to see me, a bowel dietitian, about a liver problem, for example.
Okay.
We do quite different jobs. So
Tell me why you're a dietitian. Why do you do what you do? What makes what you do get you out of bed every morning?
I've known that I wanted to be a dietitian since I was 15.
Okay.
A weird 15-year-old child who
Because
just...
most people want to be like dancers or doctors or I don't know what girls want to be when they're 15.
Influencers now.
Well, yeah. Oh, we're going to come back to that in a minute, actually. Yeah.
So I was studying catering and I was studying science. And actually, I was failing all my GCSEs because I was partying and smoking weed and having a good time. And
good time to everyone. That's everyone's life, isn't it?
yeah.
Okay.
And I was predicted D's and E's and U's.
Ooh.
And I realised that my dad would kick my ass if I got D's and E's and U's. So I pulled my finger out and redid all my coursework.
Okay.
And realised that actually I was capable of doing well in my exams. Came out with really good GCSEs I absolutely wasn't expecting.
Well done.
And then I was like, okay, well, this is actually what I want to do with my life. I actually want to do nutrition, understand that, and help people. And at the time, I didn't know the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian, just like everyone else. But I realised that if I was a dietitian, I could do everything. Whereas if I'm a nutritionist, there's some stuff I couldn't do.
Okay.
So I decided to be a dietitian. And I've done all sorts of things in that world. So initially, I worked in the NHS, which most dietitians do. So I did a good kind of 8 years in the NHS. Specialised
good grounding, base work, get your knowledge up.
Hundreds and hundreds of patients every week. And kind
Was
of really
that boring? Seeing it? Is it the same type of patient day in, day out?
No, that's the beauty of it. Everyone's different. So even if their medical condition's the same and the treatment you're giving them is the same, because you're an individual person who eats in a different way and whose life is different and whose other medical conditions are different, cooking skills, everything else, that makes a massive difference to keeping everything interesting.
So let me interject here quickly. So I got a friend who's got the gout, which used to be called the rich man's disease, right? So what is he doing wrong? Because I think he's had it, it's gone away, it's come back again. So what's he not doing right? What does he need to do to sort himself out?
So gout is caused by crystals, basically like waste products of metabolism of things like fats and high protein foods and things like that. And they then form in your tissue, so usually in your fingers and in your feet and things like that. And it's incredibly painful. So it's a bit, I don't really know how to explain it. It's a bit like having a really hard splinter inside your finger where it's just building up because it's something like a foreign body inside your fingers or inside your toes. It's a really, really painful condition. And gout, I can't remember the compound it's made from. It's not something I specialise in particular, but there's a particular compound that it's made from, which is the metabolite. So it's a breakdown product of rich foods, high fat foods, high protein foods.
Red meats, that sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah. And alcohol and things like
that's
that.
what I call the rich man's disease. So you have to eat really well to
a really rich diet and lots of alcohol is usually the thing. So the key thing is to sort of modify those lifestyle factors.
Cut those down. Can you? Is it? Am I confusing it with diabetes? Can you lose your foot from?
I don't think so. I don't think you can have to have amputations.
Yeah.
I suppose there's potential for those crystals to overform and then you lose some blood supply. So then potentially. Okay. But I think ultimately the pain will usually self-limit exactly the thing.
I don't know about him. He loves his meat. He loves his beer.
That's tough.
That's why he's gone and come back. So
That's tough, yeah.
So I'll pause you. You got to NHS, 8 years NHS, and then
NHS. Then I went into academia. So I was a lecturer and researcher for 5 years, which I loved. But during that time, I found out that I had dyslexia and dyspraxia and ADHD. Hat trick of
got everything going on.
Of
all the things.
Learning difficulties, whatever you want to say. So I was kind of deciding whether I wanted to do my PhD, or whether I wanted to go into more of what I do now, so more entrepreneurialism and also media work and stuff like that. And I had a lot of media opportunities at the time, and I also had the opportunity to do my PhD.
So media work, where would people have seen you media-wise?
So I've done lots of the kind of classic...
Actually, I feel like I'm a bit far away and looking at the camera.
I've done a lot of the classic kind of nutrition programs like How to Lose Weight Well, How to Eat Well for Less, Inside the Factory, other ones that I can't remember the name of. So all those kind of conversational type.
Did you enjoy that kind of work?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's really fun. It's a nice thing to do.
Okay.
It's a nice way of getting science communications across in a way that people perhaps haven't heard it before. Okay. And also, if anyone has seen other dietitians on TV, often they're like middle-aged women and they're like doing certain pearls and they're kind of saying, no, you can't eat that.
A bit more young, a bit more vibrant, a different kind of face to the...
It's really nice to bring some more energy to the profession, because it is generally older white women. Obviously, I'm a older white woman myself these days. Ultimately older than me.
You're still younger.
I don't know. Are we middle-aged? I don't know.
I'm Peter Pan. I'm not aging anymore.
Okay,
so
good
Peter Pan.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's fun. It's a nice thing to do. It's tedious because it takes up a lot of time, and you constantly have to take and retake stuff, and you have to do all these weird things that you don't normally have to do. Walk in and out of rooms 10,000 times and all that kind of stuff. But it's a fun thing to do.
When you do those things, are they ever scripted?
No, so you have like a guideline on what they want you to say, but they generally want it to be more conversational.
Like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that you did a little bit of TV work. So left NHS, did a bit of TV work, and now you have
left the NHS.
Okay.
Did academia for 5 years. Was trying to decide whether to do my PhD or whether to do the TV stuff and go down that science communications route. And luckily, I was seeing a therapist at the time who was like, "Well, who are you doing it for, and who are you trying to benefit?" And I was like, "Well, probably I'm just trying to prove to people that I'm smart by doing a PhD, and actually, it's not something I actually want to do. And I'm probably much better at this stuff and the communication stuff and the media stuff." And so I just made the decision that I was going to pursue this. So I worked very, very hard, harder than I even work now, to build up some money in the bank before I left my King's job, my summer lecturing job.
Yeah.
And then started the business 2018.
A couple of years now, okay, yep.
Went full time in the business February 2019, and then obviously COVID hit and all that kind of stuff. But because of the move on to kind of online healthcare, we now have clinics all week, every week, running with different dietitians, different specialities, all online. So now I can see people all over the country, all over the world, and my dietitians aren't necessarily having to be based in London. So actually, it's a much better model for us.
So, 2 questions. Do you truly have like international clients, and has the last 18 months since COVID, has it really impacted business for you at all?
So yes, we have clients all over the world, which is really great. We're very lucky. And yeah, so before March 2020, is that right?
Yeah.
We were fully face-to-face business, so we didn't see anyone online. From that point, I obviously had to make the decision to pivot the business on to an online model, which I never would have chosen to do. I don't love working from home. I don't love working online. Don't tell my patients. You
don't seem to cross that. I see you online.
But they prefer it. They love it. My patients, I mean. So I have to take that into account. And since COVID, I have now, it was basically just me and one other person clinically before COVID. Now we have 10 clinical dietitians on the team who are seeing patients every week. So the business has grown massively. I'm very lucky. But considering all the shit that everyone's been through over COVID, I feel super, super privileged that we've been in such a good position. And yeah, I've been really, I mean, I work my ass off, you know that, but it's worth it. We're
going to talk about it in a sec. So this is, I'm not sure when this will be released, but this is a day before the England match. So England was so unlucky. England did well. Covering both.
Yeah. So happy about it. I was so disappointed.
Yeah. Okay, so this week, I've noticed this week particular, maybe you didn't do it longer, but you've been like a real life troll to Love Island. I don't know if you guys, well, I'll put the link to your Instagram in the description down below, but she's been trolling Love Island, guys. You've been trolling that about that.
I'm trolling them for trolling people. So maybe the Kardashians, in fairness.
You did it, yeah. So what is your big deal with this influencer style lifestyle? What is your issue with it?
So my problem is that I see patients in clinic who are impacted by what they see online and the shapes and sizes of bodies and this kind of unrealistic idea of what women's bodies and men's bodies should look like, and it massively impacts people's mental health. And it's not, a lot of the patients I work with have what we might call disordered eating. So they've not got eating disorders in the classical sense, they're not necessarily underweight, but their relationship with food is a mess. Unhealthy. And they hate their bodies. And so even though they might have completely normal bodies, might be like a size 10 or size 12, they still feel like they are not good enough because they don't meet the societal standard that's essentially set out by people online. And the problem that I have with it, I know you want to ask me a question, but I'll keep talking.
Yeah,
the problem that I have with it is that the bodies that we see online aren't real anyway. They're enhanced by maybe surgery. They're also enhanced by filters and editing and Photoshop and whatever else. And the thing that really, really got me into sort of properly talking about it online was seeing Kim Kardashian sharing a video saying that denying the fact, or the accusation, let's say, that they promote unrealistic body images by saying that actually they just get up and do the work and they work out and they're just promoting people to be healthy, when ultimately nothing that they're promoting is healthy, and they have spent hundreds of thousands of pounds to look the way they do, to cut bits off their body and add things into their body, and also still using editing apps and filters and everything else to try and they don't even look like themselves.
Sure.
Even though they have all of the things available to them in order to look like themselves. So it's a con, and it really affects people's self-esteem, how they feel about their normal bodies, and what they think is healthy.
Okay. I'm going to pause there for a minute. I'm going to ask you a question, but bear with me one moment. This is bothering me. I'll edit this slightly. It was too far the other way. Okay. Yeah, it's much better. Okay, so the question I'm going to ask you is this. I'm using my man brain and assuming that a lot of the patients that you have are women. So, women you speak to, they have this unnatural, this not normal behaviour, they're eating and bodies, what have you. But do you think they do it for men or do it for other women?
They do it to sell stuff.
No, I'm just about this regular everyday person. Just when your clients, is that perception driven because they think the body that they see on TV from the Kardashians, what have you, that's what men want in a woman?
I think it's largely driven by comparison. I think it's largely driven by women comparing their bodies to other women's bodies and feeling like they're not good enough. Because
I basically, because I was going to say, I don't really know many men who, when they see those sort of Kardashian sort of body, they're like, oh yeah, that's something to have fun with, somebody to have fun with. But I don't know anyone that's want their long-term partner, their wife, to have that. I don't know many guys who like women who can see themselves settling down, have a child with somebody who was like overly fake.
I think that's a really interesting and difficult thing to challenge, isn't it? Because I don't know if you've seen Love Island this week, and I don't watch it.
I don't watch that crap.
There's been some clips circulating where a man has said, this is an interesting conversation for us to have actually, where one of the men on Love Island said, I really hate fake women. I really don't agree with women making themselves fake, and I'm really not attracted to fake women. And then there's these women sat on the sofas with their ridiculously fake lips. So obviously fake lips and fillers and boobs. Absolutely appalled by this man suggesting that he doesn't like fake women.
I don't think many men do.
One of the women says, the thing is, when you say you don't like fake women, it's like me saying I don't want to date a black guy. It's like me saying I wouldn't date a short guy. It's the same thing as that.
Well, you can have your preference, I suppose. You can have your preference.
But it's not the same thing. Like, you've chosen to make your body that way. You can't choose to be tall or short. You can't choose what colour your skin is. All of this stuff. And lots of men are like, I'm not attracted to redheads because your skin's too pale and whatever else. Like, we all live in this kind of existence where people do have preferences about what they find more or less attractive, and it's important that we recognise that. But when women have felt the need and the pressure to change their bodies and their faces, like, people take pictures of women off Instagram to their plastic surgeons.
Look like this.
I want to look like this, and their face doesn't even look like that in the first place. So there's just we're in such a horrible place with all this stuff at the moment. So
that leads me to ask you, so if it's not for men, why, as a woman, why do you women put this pressure on each other to have these ideals?
It's to do with
why is it so important to have this almost one-upmanship to the next woman?
I actually think it's partly to do with social media and the need that young people feel that they need to have validation on social media through the number of likes and shares and followers that they have. And you'll notice this actually, interestingly, if you see women who wear like social media style makeup in real life, like with all the contouring. I was going to ask you what. You're contouring. You've been doing that, right?
I've got it. Got my eyebrow. Not today. I'm doing natural look today, but
You've got your eyebrows are contouring. You see it. We all see it. Of women who've got heavily contoured faces in real life, lips that are drawn all the way around, on a selfie on social media, you might be able to make that look good, but in real life, it doesn't translate. It looks terrible, and there's a real. Their faces, they're not for real life, they're for social media.
Yeah.
And I think so I've been to
a magazine sort of, it's a look. Yeah. It's like wearing high fashion in a catwalk looks good there, but you couldn't wear some of those stuff you see on a catwalk in the street, you look ridiculous.
Yeah, but I've been to influencer events and restaurant openings and things like that where people are there purely to have their pictures taken for social media. They're not there to have a good time, they're not there even pretending to have a good time.
It's work.
It's work for them, but their life, they don't exist in the same space as us. So we're here having this time that we're having, and we're having a chat. But for them, it would be all about having a picture taken, what angles,
making sure the angles right, look good,
and doing some ridiculous things. Like I've seen people lying on pieces of furniture in a room full of people in the most ridiculous things
just
that they're doing, just to get that picture that then was going to get more attention, more likes, more follows. They don't care that they look stupid in real life or that their makeup looks ridiculous in real life, because that's not where they exist.
They exist in the digital.
That's not of value to them. What is of value to them is their online, their social media persona, and that is a very big change, generational change. We didn't grow up with social media, but the kids who did, that is as much, in my experience, as much part of their life as their real life.
Question for you now. Okay, this is actually more. This is deeper than I expected. So I thought it would be more light-highlighted than this, but I got a question. Now we're in this rabbit hole. Okay, so I believe women are better social creatures overall, general speaking, than men. Have you heard of the term hive mind women?
No.
So the theory is that women seek, back to this whole thing, seek validation women. So if you have a group of women in a room, they generally agree with each other on a topic because no one wants to be the outspoken one. So with those two things, because the idea of being more social and the idea of being more hive-minded, do you think that's the problem? They're seeking validation because they don't want to stand out from somebody else. They want to fit in with somebody else.
I think so, and it does take a lot of strength of character and of mind to not fit in. Maybe, I think for men and women, for everybody really, everyone wants to fit in, especially when you're young. It's very important to fit in when you're young and to not feel like the odd one out.
How old is young?
I mean, even when you're at school, we've all experienced it, right? And I think that just continues, essentially. And I think social media just exacerbates that, because you have to be really strong-minded to go, no, I'm not going to engage in that, I'm not going to be part of it, because it's so alluring, and it's designed to be alluring, it's designed to make you feel bad about yourself, and it's just toxic. And I think I wouldn't care so much if I didn't see the product of it in my clinics and with my patients, and the damage it's causing and the pain it's causing and how it affects people's ability to enjoy their day-to-day life. And you imagine living in a body that you hate all the time. Every time you are aware of your body, which is 99.9% of the time, you are essentially traumatized by the body that you live in.
And I imagine, is it one of those things where no matter how many times you say you look normal, you look fine, you look beautiful, they just don't understand, don't believe it, don't accept whatever it is, just can't absorb those words?
Yeah, disordered sort of body image. It's a bit like me saying to you, so you don't believe that your body is a normal, healthy shape and size. Even if you are very, very underweight, you might believe that your body is enormously overweight, or certainly not good enough in some way. Your thighs are whatever, or you have this thing that you don't like. And it's like me saying to you, the sky's red, and you're going, no, the sky's blue. I know the sky's blue because I can see it. And I'm going, no, it's red. And I need, as a therapist, I need you to trust me enough for you to go, okay, all right, I believe you. I don't believe the voices, everything that's telling me, everything that I've learned about myself over the last however long, I need to believe that the sky is red.
It's a lot of conditioning, so if you try to change it takes it's
hard work. And kids are on TikTok now, and they're all these like, what I eat in a day and how to edit your photos and dieting, everything on there is all about dieting and how to lose weight and all this stuff, and it is just toxic, and it's absolute poison. The rise in eating disorders during lockdown has been horrific, especially under young people. With young people, men's eating disorders are rising hugely because of the pressure to be really muscular, young men believe that every man has a six-pack under his t-shirt, and it's just not the case.
I don't know about that. I've got a pack of rum under there.
This is the thing, right? Like, I think when you get to our age, you've seen enough people naked, unless you've lived a sheltered life, to be like, actually, everyone's bodies are different, and difference is beautiful.
People should watch more Naked Attraction.
People should watch before Naked Attraction. I used to say that young girls should go to strip clubs. You can see men ogling women of all different shapes and sizes and all different sizes. But now what we see on social media is these heavily edited, filtered, images.
You know what part of it is? Part of it is because it's going to sound really crazy, but men as a species, pretty much, there is no woman out of bounds for a man. Like there is a woman that a man will sleep with, no matter how she looks, how tall she is, how whatever she does. He might be rich, she might be poor. It doesn't matter. But I don't think the same works in the other direction. I think a lot of women are quite particular with the kind of guys they look at, notice, and absorb, and that's why you think about the strip club is guys. No, broad stroke conversation. Guys will sleep with anybody. And women don't. Women are quite particular about what they do.
These days, though, there is a lot more young guys. I think because of porn culture and everything else, there is a lot of rules that guys have about women's bodies, and obviously, fortunately, I'm not part of that generation, but it's definitely an issue for young men.
They're lying. They're lying. They're saying that. But get into a nightclub and it's like 2 a.m. They're playing the last song. You've had a few drinks, and your mate's bored, and you're by yourself. You think, fuck. She'll do.
I mean, every woman dreams of being the she'll do woman, right? That's the thing. That's what we're looking for.
What else do you want in life?
She'll do.
She'll do.
It's just, now I wonder why I've been single for 5 years. I cannot imagine. Honestly.
Not been enough clubs.
Could have been the she'll do woman more often.
I mean, it's just... Some Priti Patel's got somebody, hasn't she? And she's a horrible person.
Matt, what's his face? Got 2 women.
Man, where do you see? You see?
You just backed yourself into a men are trash. That's it, what you've done there.
Some people are trash.
True story.
I mean, yeah, some people are absolutely trash. So, what's next for you? What's happening for you? Well, firstly, what do you think of your Cool Breeze?
I love it. I've been talking too much. I haven't drunk mine, actually.
Well, mine's finished, so.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next for Sophie and the business? New laptop, which is good.
Just got a new laptop. Yeah, my last one died.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good question. I would like to have some physical premises, so I would like to open a physical clinic space in London, which is exciting.
So I'm going to say to you, well, if it's all working fine offline, why do you want to add that extra overhead to the business?
Because I'm vain. I think.
Wait, did we just is this whole conversation about being vain in some degree?
Vain, not as in about my physical self, but vain and like self-indulgent about things. I think that there is being able to have a physical clinic space where I can see my patients, which can be like a flagship for the business, and that's potentially franchisable in the future, is a very exciting next step.
Does it give you a more? If it gives a more professional outlook on things.
And do you know what? There is a physiotherapy practice on every corner. So why is there not more physical dietetic? Well, you know what I mean. If there's certainly 3 or 4 different physiotherapy practices in where I live.
Well, it's like where I am, within like a 5-minute walk, it's about 3 or 4. Yeah,
exactly. But there's no dietitians on high streets, but there should be.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's we tell ourselves as a profession that there's not enough patients and things like that. But I think if more people knew what we do and what's available, that there would be. So that's something that I am very interested in over the next few years. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we kind of need COVID to have completely gone away before that is a thing, because until people are back in offices and we know the right locations. And
if I'm being honest with you, I'm not sure how it's going to work, because my company has said to us pretty much, you don't have to be in office. So they've basically the working theory is different teams can be in office on different days if they want to be. Mm. So you can't just walk. You can't just rock up. You can't. There's no expectation to be in the office.
Yeah.
But if you do want to go, you can only go on X days when your team are allowed to be in the office.
Yeah.
Which could be maybe once, twice a week. So, I don't imagine every company's gonna have a little bit different, but I don't imagine it's gonna be the same way I'm jumping a train to Cannon Street and the city, between Cannon Street and St Paul's and Moorgate, be full of thousands of people getting to offices.
So it's difficult to know when and if the timing for that will be right or not. So we're going to keep building online, obviously, and keep promoting that and getting that going as far as it can do. Keep everyone else busy. I'm going to try and see less patients. I've got more time. And then I'm planning my mind in October to take a month off and try and write a book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of things going on.
So wait, Riz, what kind of book? Book on?
Obviously nutrition.
From like a scientific perspective or from a more personal perspective?
I think a bit of everything. I think what I would really like to do is launch a big campaign.
You know, people are saying in here, people are going to hold you to this now they can see you.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I'm good. I need some accountability.
Like 2 years time, where's the fucking book?
What I would love to be able to do is change the science curriculum so that you are taught nutrition as a science at GCSE level. As part of
science, or part of so not a part of like your cooking sort of
because that's not mandatory.
Okay.
I think it needs to be taught at GCSE level and examined at GCSE level. Let me tell you something crazy.
Talk to me.
We still teach kids about the life cycle of plants and everything else about plants. That was set after the Second World War when we needed kids to be farmers. Okay. They understood about plants.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That was when that curriculum was set. It's just not been changed because no one's updated it, and it's like, did you teach a bit about nutrition now, a bit about diabetes and heart disease, but it's not taught in a standardised way, and it's not taught in a way that is
haphazard.
Yeah, and there's everyone has their own thoughts and feelings about food and their own bodies, and sometimes it's taught in a really negative way, in a way that promotes bad body image and that promotes some of these terrible things that we see, that I see in my clinics years later. And ultimately, if it was standardised at curriculum level and kids were taught, like, your body detoxes itself through these mechanisms, you do not need to buy some detox tea off an influencer on Instagram.
Sure.
All this stuff, I think that we could really make a massive difference.
But is that a thing for school or thing for parents?
I think it's both, but there's some things we can control and some things we can't control. We can control the curriculum, not me personally, but at governmental level, you can control the curriculum. You can control what's taught. I can't control what parents teach their children at home. Okay. But I think we need to control the variables that we can, so that kids don't fall into these stupid traps. They're not stupid. It's a stupid trap of buying skinny teas and detox teas and things that are actually causing them huge harm and huge problems later in the future and acutely. Buying all these MLM vitamins and all this nonsense. You can buy multi-level marketing vitamins, like Herbalife and all this stuff.
That's a good question, actually.
I think we can stop people falling into those traps if we teach them about nutrition at an earlier age and teach them to look after their bodies properly and their minds properly and all these kinds of things. But we don't teach that at the moment. We just let them go. And now social media is almost like a public health platform where people go for health information. But the statistics say that 90% of information about nutrition online is
nonsense.
False.
Yeah, okay.
So kids don't know any better and they just fall into these traps. If we can start teaching them properly about their bodies and about nutrition, that's important to me. But potentially the first stage of that is for me to write a book targeted at teenagers, so I can kind of get my thoughts together and think about what it looks like.
That's your target audience, teenagers, like lower teens or older teens,
I think,
younger teens.
From potentially even 12 upwards, whenever social media becomes part of what is part of their world, like also thinking about influences and how that impacts you and your choices and your health choices and how you look after your body and your thoughts and feelings about food and your body as you're growing up and what's influencing you.
So the question I had thought of while you were speaking there, I imagine business would really boom for you in something like America.
Yeah.
So is that something you thought about expanding over there or setting a clinic over there?
So I'm not a registered dietitian in America or in Australia, so we have to be a little bit careful with which territories our qualifications translate into. Okay. So it's possible that I could employ a team of American dietitians and move things in that direction. There are already brilliant American dietitians doing good stuff. It's quite a different way of practicing over there than it is over here. So potentially, maybe, but we're
not
also talking about kind of Dubai contracts and stuff like that at the moment. So that would be potentially an easier.
Yeah, Dubai's around the corner, so and nice weather. Well, got a friend out in the Bay now. She was telling me it's like 49 degrees.
I know.
That's fucking
hot. My friend's got a baby over there.
Hot.
It's impossible.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do Dubai in the summer. It's too hot. How does Atomic Kitten song become an England song? I don't get it. I think it's stupid. Can you explain to me what I've missed here, because I'm just not following here?
I mean, I don't have any thoughts or feelings about any of these things. I'm entirely neutral about the whole thing.
So you're not out there singing Atomic Kitten when England's playing?
No.
Okay. Are you for or against throwing bears in the sky?
Oh, I think people should just have. Do you know what? I have, as much as I don't tell him I don't care about football. It's been really nice seeing, particularly men, like male joy on Instagram. It's nice to see. It's nice to see. It's nice to see the country being so excited and people having something to be really happy and joyful about. I don't think we see that very often, and it's nice.
Yeah, I'm against bear in the sky.
Is it because you don't want beer on your clothes?
Yes.
Yeah. Fair.
Yes.
Fair.
Yes. I feel that I'm too old for that nonsense. That's a young man's game. And if I'm out in a pub or a beer garden and someone throws beer on me, I'm going to be very upset.
Maybe we should stay home though.
This is why I have to stay at my house. Grumpy old man. I'm not down for that at all. Okay. Have you seen any of the clips? I don't know if I should have shared it before I came with us. Have you seen any of the clips of Italy and in London of both teams getting through the semi-finals, the results of the matches?
No.
I'll share something about it. There's been some crazy videos going around about Italy. I think a couple of people may have been either seriously injured or died. There's a video that went around of a guy who went to light a firework. So he lit it and it's blown up pretty much before he's got to move out of the way, and it was a very big bang.
Even around here, it when we've won any matches, you can hear it in the street. Everyone's very excited. Fireworks, people blocking the road, dancing in the road.
Really? This is the nicest area.
Yeah. Nice-ish.
It's not quite as nice as my area. We don't have it in my area. I'm in the burbs. We don't have those problems.
Nothing fun in the burbs, that's why. No joy in the burbs.
We have those problems. Our residents are well behaved.
Drive to your nearest pub.
No, you can walk. You can walk to the nearest pub. You can walk to. Where is the nearest pub? You can walk to the nearest pub. Yeah. You can walk to the nearest pub. You can walk.
Okay.
You can. Not close as your nearest pub, but you can walk.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else on your mind you want to talk about today?
I think so.
Have you enjoyed our chat?
Very enjoyed our chat. Always.
Do another one.
Always.
I'm coming to, in case you haven't noticed, I'm actually taking this on the road because to get people like you on this, I can't rely on you to come to me.
You can't rely on me to come as far as your house.
I've got to come to you people, and so what you'll find is that more of these conversations will be in different locations.
Nice.
Fun times. Well, you have individual times, so you're actually front of the camera.
Thanks.
Love speaking to you.
You too. Thanks for having me.